Welcome to Fireteam Chat, IGN's Destiny show. Thank you so much for joining us. Joining this crew today is the Mav Show. Mav, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for inviting me. I'm excited.
We're excited to have you on the show today. We're going to be talking all about the new subclasses. We're all really excited about that. Another person returning to the show after a long hiatus due to IGN work is Brian Malkowitz.
Hey.
How you doing, Brian?
I've been good. It's a long summer.
Return
good
of the
back.
Malkowitz. He's here with us at the last.
Missing Star Wars movie.
And Travis.
McCluggy.
Oh my God.
Gotta say it.
You have to.
Anyway, Mav, it's great to have you. All this. So we planned your appearance a while ago. We were trying to coordinate our schedules and everything, get you on here. And you are on probably one of the biggest news weeks we've had in some time. We got the new Stasis Subclass. And I think to start out, we'll go over the first one that was revealed. Last week we were talking about Stasis, Freeze, Shatter. Before we get into the nitty gritty, what is your immediate reaction to all of these new subclasses?
Well, the first thing I would like Bungie to do is just admit that it's ice. That would be great. Just that it's frost, ice, and cold. Frigid. That's what I would like. I'm actually excited. I'm usually a hunter, and I'm excited for Warlock, but don't tell any hunters. Okay. That's
the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, but I'm excited. I can't wait to try it. I've been working really hard on getting the triumphs out of the way and just finishing the planets that are going to be going away, and yeah, I'm excited.
So of the subclasses that were revealed, which one are you most excited to try out? We've seen we've seen them in action, but we've got some more details about the Warlock and the Titan. So out of those two, which one are you leaning more towards? Do you have a main class first of all?
Yeah, so I usually play hunter. Pretty much
correct answer.
Hunter.
No.
Okay, I've been a hunter forever. I can't listen. The only time I ever play Warlock, which was recently, was for memes because I can't jump. I don't know how to fight with it. I just don't know the classes. Listen, I just don't. I've never been interested in them, even though you need them.
Exactly. You need them. You
need
right.
a Warlock.
You need
I'm not going to be your Warlock. But
That's fair.
You know what?
That's fair.
That might be different. 2020's been a really weird year.
True. Who knows what'll happen?
What about you, Brian? Did you have a subclass? Well, you're Warlock, so
I'm a Warlock main, so first of all, the whole idea of the Warlock is being a space wizard, and they finally gave them a staff.
Right.
So so it's tying that together, and that's the whole. That obviously I'm excited for that subclass just for that reason. But the Titan, and I think the Titans are the ones who have the ability to throw the ice wall, right?
Yep. No. So apparently all classes can do that.
All classes can do that. I haven't seen that. So that's going to be interesting. So okay. So then that doesn't lean my opinion away from Warlock then. So
here's the Warlock
staff.
here. I'm gonna break
cool.
the third wall and do a little bit of live production here so that we can zoom in on some of the text and such. So we got the Warlock Shadebinder, Fracture with Frost, Keen Masters of Destruction, launching projectiles, freezing as many enemies as possible, and shattering them all in one fell swoop. The Shadebinder ensures no foe is left standing. And
I'll wait until I see some yellow bars die by it.
Right, we'll see.
Yeah.
Winter's Wrath is the name of the staff. Shadebenders harness the power of darkness to summon a stasis staff. They have a Shatter Shockwave. Detonates the crystal on their staff, creating a devastating shockwave that shatters all nearby frozen enemies. And we've seen this in action, but it's just kind of cool to see it's sort of broken down by Bungie here. Penumbral Blast fires stasis projectiles from the staff that explode on impact. Enemies hit by the crystalline shrapnel are immediately frozen solid. And that is the Shadebinder Warlock. So, Brian, that's going to be your main there?
Of course.
It just looks fun.
It looks pretty sick.
It definitely looks sick.
Yeah.
I guess let's get into a breakdown of how these new subclasses are going to work. I cheated a little bit. I watched Dato's video Dado has a fantastic breakdown if you want a more robust breakdown of the Warlock subclass. And here's the TLDR of how these are going to work. So basically, I'm just going to go full screen on this. I'm switching live while trying to read my notes, and I'm doing a lot at once. So thank you, viewers and listeners, for being patient with me. So basically, that is not the right image.
Wow.
Or is it?
I'm a pro producer, y'all.
You're right.
So this is the Shadebinder Warlock class, and you can see abilities. You're going to be able to change. The subclass tree looks dramatically different. First of all, this is really exciting to me. You have your abilities from left to right here. You have the Rift, Movement, Melee, and Grenade abilities. This is the Warlock Shadebinder. You have aspects. Aspects are where you sort of slot the ability that you want to utilize. And here's another image from Bungie.net. So here is an aspect: Frost Pulse, a conflux trapped, motionless in crystal, infinite possibilities held in tranquil inertia. You unleash the darkness within, suspending your enemies in harrowing stillness. Casting your rift generates a shockwave that freezes nearby combatants. And then
that's exciting.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then if we go a step further, we also have fragments, which are basically the mods, how mods are going to be implemented with these subclasses. And Whisper of Bonds is the one that's shown here. Defeating frozen targets with weapons grants you super energy, but you lose 10 intellect and you lose 10 discipline for equipping that fragment. So this is super cool. This is a dramatic shift. This is a pretty major shift on the subclass trees. Something that I think Destiny 2 is needed for some time. So get all your ice puns out now. But
I'm sorry. I'll let it go.
No. I love it.
Sorry,
I love it. Keep it going. Keep it going.
Batman Forever.
Let it go.
Was that Batman?
Oh my goodness.
Nice.
What do you guys think about these subclass changes? I actually sort of like the structure. I don't know how I feel about the mod implementation or fragments. Let's throw it to Mav first. Our guest, what is sort of your reaction to this restructuring of the subclass trees?
Yeah, it's obviously the subclass, even just the outline in the page, it looks amazing. Like, it is way easier to understand rather than wondering like, what tree do I pick from what, where? And aspects are just a cool way of, it's sort of like RPGs. You can kind of change the way you are a specific class, and it just looks cool. I can't wait to play around with it. I'm really excited for them to change it. The UI team has been killing it. And yeah, it just looks like a lot of fun. Can't wait to play around with just slotting in different abilities rather than like it being more like a web. It looks more like, I don't know, a tray like you have a certain things you can pick and slot around, and it's just very sandboxy. Like there's a lot of choices.
Yeah, for me, the first time looking at all this, I was a little bit overwhelmed, but I wrote it all out. And looking at it visually, I'm like, oh, it's actually not that confusing when you just take a little bit to think about how this is going to be implemented in game, right? And I agree with you, absolutely. Major props to the UI team. Hopefully this is easy to translate to like new Guardians and people coming into it. But I also want to hear from our other panelists. Brian, what do you think about this restructuring of how the subclasses are going to go?
My first thought is like, it's great that we're finally getting a branching, subclass. So I'm more like excited what they do about it in the future if they implement it to our other subclasses, right? Because we've had, these 9 subclasses for a few years that we've just, been, 1, 2, and 3 nodes on each element. So I'm hoping that they kind of just, barring it not being a balancing issue, is kind of just break what they're doing out with Stasis and adding it to our other subclasses too. So that way we have even more options on how we use our supers.
Yeah, for sure. And Travis, what do you think?
Yeah, so last episode I said that my ideal would be that throughout the campaign we're kind of steadily unlocking this new subclass, like over time, like first we get a grenade and that sort of thing. I don't think that that's going to happen, but I do think based on this UI, we're going to be unlocking different pieces and options for the subclass as we go. That's kind of my guess, just based on the way that it's laid out, which is super exciting because it means that, you're going to be getting new abilities and powers, and it'll also mean that not everyone using the subclass is going to be the exact same set of skills. There's going to be some diversity, which kind of reminds me of the way that they did it in Destiny 1, where you could kind of pull from those trees and take specific powers, and your class wasn't always the same as the person standing next to you who had the same subclass. So that's really cool. I do worry, kind of speaking to Brian's point a little bit, what are your incentives of any kind to play any of the other subclasses, right? Especially if you're updating this one and upgrading it as you go throughout the season, which makes me think that the diversity of different types of players that we're going to see is probably going to be pretty low in terms of, everybody's going to be using these ice subclasses, and especially with the way grenades work, if creating platforms and then jumping on those platforms is a big deal, then you got to have everybody using those subclasses as well. So it does make me a little bit nervous in that regard, but I'm glad that they're doing this. I think it's a good direction, and I hope, I want to echo what Brian said. I really hope that this means that they now go back and refurbish the other subclasses, because they're not going to make a whole lot of sense as the way they stand now.
90% chance that we're still going to be using Warlocked rifts in the new raid.
Yeah.
You say that we're all going to be using subclasses, but it's like end-game content, we're still going to be dropping wells.
Yeah, I don't know if we're at, like, it's hard to say because Stasis is very chill. And I don't know, like, when it comes to like raid races and stuff, usually we have designated people with designated classes, and I don't really see, maybe if there's like an encounter that is like very crowd control-y, but I don't know. Destiny's not really known for that a lot. Like, it's very boss fight, some ads, go. And so it'd be interesting. I'm curious to see all of the Stasis just sort of opens the door up to being like, okay, so the raid's going to be different then, right? Like, I can't wait to see that. It sort of just snowballs, and I'm so sorry about all the ice jewels.
No, it's fine. It's absolutely fine.
I didn't even catch
is
the
it on
snowball
purpose,
one.
or is it just natural? Is it just natural?
Yeah.
She's
just using it as an icebreaker.
It's not going to end.
Hey.
So real quick, that does sound like a passive benefit to me. The fact that we're also going to get a retooling of the existing subclasses, I would guess, right?
Probably not.
You would
No. But they're going to be designed differently, correct? Like if
oh my gosh, you're right.
So
oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that.
So if this is Shadebinder, you would probably click the big giant triangle on the left, and you would just select whatever your main subclass is, and then you would have the new. You would potentially still have the same abilities, etc. Like they're not just going to do this huge UI overhaul for only one of the subclasses. They're going to do them for all of them, right?
They haven't announced that, but honestly, I don't think they would do that right away, right? That's got to be a balancing nightmare to allow us to do all that with the old subclasses and how they work. But I don't know, like, because they haven't said anything about tooling the old subclasses.
Look at Warlock, though.
Yeah.
Your ability for Warlock currently is your Rift, right?
Yeah.
So you have damage dealing or healing Rift, and then you have movement, melee, and grenade. They've restructured this subclass entirely, and I would have to guess that they're doing that for all of them. It would just change the color of the screen, and then you would equip appropriately. So it's it's reorganized everything.
Yeah, the UI could just be exclusive to that subclass. Like, I'm not saying it is. I'm only going based on like how we've seen Bungie operate in the past, right? I just can't. I personally just can't imagine them launching Beyond Light and having every single subclass use this system.
I think you're wrong, and I think that's because
that's fine. You can be wrong too.
Well, let me explain. Why.
I know.
You're correct, but let me explain why. Design-wise, I don't think that's as easy as you think. They have to design this whole new UI for one subclass, and then they have the separate structure for the existing subclasses. I think they're just going to totally shift over.
Hey, I would like.
I think if they do, Destin, it'll be purely cosmetic. I think it'll look the same as the new subclass screen, but all those boxes will be locked in just like on the existing screen, so that you can't actually equip aspects or fragments on those subclasses.
Yeah. So
that
Brian,
would be a ton of work.
Yeah, and if you look at this, Brian,
Yeah,
they're just reorganizing the info, right? You still got your int, strength, resilience, over there. Your abilities are just reorganized. You have your grenade, movement, etc. Like none of that has changed. It's just restructured, and that's really exciting.
So you're not talking about them using. Are you still talking about them using the aspects and the fragments though for the old subclasses?
For that, I don't know. Now,
okay, that's what I thought you were talking about specifically.
For me, the fragment system, which is really interesting, that's just mods. That's just mods for subclasses. We already sort of have that, right? So that's not that much of an evolution. I would not be surprised. Well, I mean, it's from a design standpoint, it is a massive evolution, but I would not be surprised if we have something like that on the old subclasses, because it's the mod system newified.
Don't you think aspects though, they might give the other subclasses an aspect to play around with, because if that's the new sort of thing rather than
I mean, I would love it if they did that. I just don't have a ton of confidence that they managed to get that in the game. I mean, let's not forget this game is like already pretty huge, and it's like their first major expansion when they're separate from Activision, and it got delayed because of COVID, and there's like so many things that I would be really surprised.
At home, like that's
But if they did it, to Mav's point, and I think Mav's right, if they did it, it would probably solve a lot of the problems with the subclass trees that were underutilized, because we're going to be able to mix and match the pieces that we want. The growing problem that I think we'll see sort of creep up with all of this, though, is you're going to get one configuration, and that's going to be like the configuration, right?
That's Destiny problem, though. That's the God roll.
That's always just been like the community thing, the player thing. Like there will be a setup, like a class setup that day one bet, like it's just going to happen.
Yeah,
I agree. I think that's okay.
Or maybe not. Maybe they really throw a curveball, but that's just always how it's been.
It's always going to be.
I would like it.
There's going to be a PvP set and there's going to be a PvE set. So at the very least, you're going to have two things to switch between. And I would not be surprised if in a few months we're actually discussing what's the best load up for PvP versus PvE, and hey Bungie, can you just add a quick switch between the two so I don't have to go in and do all the little details.
I was gonna say,
if I could ask Bungie one thing to change while they're at it, if they're redesigning the UI for all the subclasses and all this, it would be to unlink the melee abilities from the existing trees so that we can kind of mix and match those at the very least. Like that's something that's always really annoyed me. If I'm doing Sunbreaker and I want to have Melting Point, I have to choose that specific tree, and it's sort of a bummer. I would like it if they would at least do that while they're here, while they're in the spirit of customization, as well.
I gotta say though, like talking that out with you guys, I'm even more excited, because even the fact that they've reworked the UI of how subclasses are going to work is a big win. I think it's going to be clearer for players, and I think it's going to be a lot more interesting to mix and match these abilities. We didn't even get to the Titan yet, so let's talk about the Titan really quick and go over again.
Please, the Behemoth.
Breaking the Brian will be back. I'm going to break the fourth wall. I'm going to do a little bit of live production here. So we got the Titan Behemoth. Crash like an avalanche. Behemoths are high offense and high defense, creating solid stasis crystals to provide cover or platforms from which to leap during their super. Behemoths can jump higher, faster, and farther with unlimited melee energy and high damage mitigation. Glacial Quake. Behemoths compel stasis energy to attach to their body, covering themselves in the frozen darkness, forming a stasis gauntlet on one hand, increasing their damage resistance in the process. What else we got here? Shiver Strike. The Behemoth summons a stasis gauntlet and lunges forward with explosive speed, smashing through anything in their way. Upon reaching their target, they unleash a devastating jab that sends their foe careening backwards while slowing nearby enemies.
Is that like the shoulder charge for that class?
Looks like it.
It looks like
it
a
does
melee.
look like it. Yep.
Yeah.
Ground
Just
control.
Shiver.
The behemoth slams their gauntlet into the ground, sending out tremors, a powerful stasis energy that leave crystals in their wake and freeze all enemies in the vicinity. Now, we saw this in action last week, and now we sort of know the names of everything. Travis, you're the Titan main of the group. What are your thoughts?
Yes. This looks like a Titan Smash class again, but this time with ice, which, you know, is cool. I'm excited. Obviously, we still don't know a lot about like how the whole like freezing and breaking people and all that. We've seen video footage of it, but we don't really know how it's going to work mechanically or how it's going to play in the wild. So I'm interested to see that. But yeah, this looks like it completely invalidates the Striker class by making a way better one. So isn't that the story of the subclasses as a whole, right? Like I think we were talking about last week how the Warlock is sort of like a combination of both the Nova Warp and the beam one. I always forget the name of it because they can shoot Chaos Reach because they can shoot out of their staff. So this seems like the Titan kind of getting its roaming close range super, like an even better version. So it's kind of interesting how they're doing that. And again, I have like a lot of questions in terms of like balance with the other subclasses, but I'm not going to think about that right now and just kind of enjoy the fact that the Behemoth does look really cool. As a Titan, it's always cool to see us get to use our fists. But yeah, it is a little bit weird that it's literally just, smash Titan with ice gloves this time. So I guess that's the most Titan thing they could think of. So there you go.
I like it a lot. It does add sort of a compelling aspect. I bet you're going to be a little bit slower in this because you're sort of bulking up. Yeah, I don't know. Mav, what are your reactions to the Titan? You looking forward to fighting them in PvP?
No. I was really excited because, you're not going to really see strikers, probably. This is worse. This is like the big brother.
This is worse.
So it's going to be interesting to see how being frozen and how often you can smash and just basically, can you escape from it at all? Or you're just one and done? At least with Striker, you could kind of, but not really escape. So this is worse.
Now, what if I told you that we also have 2 pulse grenades that freeze you when they hit you?
Oh my god! But what if you're a stasis? Like if you're a hunter or a warlock stasis and you're going against the behemoth, can you go against stasis ice? Does
ice
it
freeze
hurt
ice?
Does it not?
I don't know.
It looks like it shuts down supers.
Yeah.
Well, the hunter, I don't know. We were talking about that last week.
The gunslinger super got stopped. Yeah.
Yeah, I could find it in the footage really quick, but that would probably take me too long and be awkward on a live.
Like it shows footage of it shutting, so it's like it acts like sort of like suppression does, where it just takes them out.
It just freezes them out of their super, and then they shot him.
Or,
they shot the hunter with a sniper.
Or maybe a solar hunter warlock can go against stasis and just
are we entering like a Pokemon weaknesses system now?
That'd be awesome.
There it was.
Yeah, that would be awesome, actually.
Yeah, so I don't know. I can't wait to either read the salt or read the hype when it comes out, because
it's gonna be a little mixture of both.
Yeah, because people are going to still play the old classes, but for a while it's going to just be the Stasis Battlegrounds.
Oh yeah, day one PvP is going to be very spicy. Well, I guess not spicy, but the opposite. Yeah,
it's exciting just because, we haven't had a 4th class, subclass, ever.
Yeah, I think it was the first new element, yeah.
It's ever.
I think you're absolutely right. People are going to be feeling out the new subclass for like the first week or 2, and then there will be some meta that everybody lands on. I do feel like Titans, especially, are going to land on this subclass currently. Because, Travis, do you run hammers or striker right now?
Hammers usually. It kind of just depends on the map and my loadout, but yeah, hammers are kind of my go-to right now.
I feel like this one is more versatile and has more options as a subclass, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is the new Titan main. Is it going to replace?
Wow, really?
We'll see. We'll see. I could be wrong about the other thing Brian and I were talking about too, but
True.
Yeah.
You can't underestimate the bubble.
Yeah.
I will tell you this. Obviously,
It's situational. I guess it'll be situational.
It is. It's very situational. Depends on the activity.
I hope that's true. I hope that it's situational because that means you get the most diversity, right? People are kind of switching between, which I think is what you want. But
yeah.
I will tell you this: like, if they're giving me a system where I get to add aspects and fragments and upgrade and unlock new parts as I go through the campaign, like, I'm never not using the Behemoth, even if it's not the best subclass. Like, I just want to. It's new Destiny content. Like, who wouldn't want to use the new cool toy? So
yeah, you can mix and match. Also, just looking, I'll just bring it full screen. We have Tectonic Harvest is one of the aspects that were teased. A petrified grip, grasping for something once held but now lost. Your hands create power from nothing. Shattering a stasis crystal creates a stasis shard. The shards grant melee energy. When picked up from you or your allies. So more shoulder charge kills, basically, right?
Great.
and then looking at the fragments, the fragment teased was you actually gain plus 10 strength with this one. Whisper of Durance, slow from your abilities lasts longer. For those abilities that linger, their duration will also increase.
Sounds like there's no negative effect to that. It's like,
there's not
increased, but also here's more strength as well.
Yeah, I just have a feeling, man. I have a feeling about this subclass for Titans.
I'm scared.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting.
Good, as you should be.
Well,
every
I'm a
hunter should fear
hunter,
us.
like I've mentioned, and I can't wait to play Warlock, but I feel like I'm missing out because of the Titan. I think it's going to just be sneaky good, and I'm going to be very upset that I didn't level it up first.
Yeah, we're getting Hunter news on September 8th. So, Mav, I'm a Hunter main also these days, and I'm very excited to see what the Hunter can do. We know they have the glaives, and I'm excited to see the breakdown of that ability.
And apparently they saved best for last. But not according to Deej.
Well, they showed the best first, so I don't know what. I don't know.
For sure.
Yeah, this just looks so much fun, though.
God, it looks so fun.
It really does.
It does
I
really
love
good.
That he's just melting everything. Like this has to be for flair, right?
Well, can you roll that back to the? Oh wait, he's doing it to a yellow bar right there. Okay,
there you go. Just
right.
like 1-2 punch. He just freezes it.
Yeah.
All right.
He has
that looked good. I like that.
Extra shoulder charges. It's going to be nasty. It's going to be absolutely nasty.
They're going to, I think, honestly, go ahead.
No, it looked like you can freeze people and your teammate can break the ice.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Wingman. Yep.
It's about controlling speed, but then I think you got to do that shatter to finish them off. I don't know.
Also, they said that when you break the ice, it creates like an ice explosion that goes out and damages nearby enemies. So it's just going to be a chain effect of
it's like a projectile disaster, and I wonder if you can even adjust it or really sandbox it, right? Like, what if you could change the way it combusts on people, and like, what can you change the range of it? Can you how deep are we going with this, Bungie? I don't know. I'm excited.
Yeah, the Titan stuff really it looks really interesting. And there's the combo.
They'll be busted for a while before they tone it down.
Right.
Let's have our fun for like 2 months.
Yeah,
I mean,
just gonna let it be broken. You remember the laser tag weekend?
Laser tag, and even the hammers.
Month? Oh yeah, Infinite, wasn't it Infinite Hammers? The hammer month.
Gosh. Yeah, when the hammers was launched, it just dominated. So I'm not going to be surprised that Stasis is super hot and fun. And I mean, there's always a quest or something where they introduce it, and I wonder what we're going to learn from that. Next week they'll show us what that's kind of like, but I doubt that.
The subclass news has been super exciting, but there is one other thing. Basically, they covered it in the TWAB, and that is how they're changing triumphs and titles. So real quick, I'm going to go over some of the changes there. Title and triumph changes are coming. Triumphs are being reorganized. Career scores will be added with an active score. Active score is like stuff that you can earn now versus your career score, things that you have done in the past, right? Beyond Light will focus on this year's destination, Europa. They include the content on the destination, which includes story missions, strikes, the raid, lost sectors, and yes, even some secrets. So we're getting new lost sectors on Europa. They didn't, get rid of that, which is nice. New strikes, a new raid that we already knew about. Excited to learn about the secret stuff too. Sharp Eyes will notice, and I have the display here. I'll just bring it up really quick. So Sharp Eyes will notice that we've moved metals, catalysts, and lore off into their own section, but more on that later. And there is an important note about this. If you look at the second logo in on Triumphs, it's a little familiar. Did anybody recognize that?
I think that the community,
Mav,
Well, I mean, it's been swirling everywhere. So if you're just tuning in, it's all over Twitter. It's everywhere. It's basically the same logo that's on Uldren's chest, and which kind of obviously tells us or doesn't tell us that he's going to be just catching up with us,
right?
In Europa.
Finally learned why the city is breathing down his neck.
I think the hunters are going to have a new vanguard.
Do you think?
Oh God!
Oh my gosh!
I think so.
That'd be
sure.
Interesting.
But
that's
part of the lore, right? If you kill Cade, you get his old job. It's part of the lore.
Is that part of the lore?
Yeah.
Poor Cade.
I mean, I think that's what Cade said.
Isn't today Cade's anniversary?
I got the image.
I think.
Yeah.
Sorry, 1 second. So there's the image, and if you look on his chest plate right there, he has the double down arrow, and then if you look over here on this one, the second Triumph in, it is similar there. I'll try and bring them up side by side.
Also worth noting that I don't think at all during D2 was he wearing that. He had that cloak on most of the time.
Yeah. So do you guys think he's going to be like a quest giver or part of the main story, or
I
how do you
think
he'll fit into it?
I think he's absolutely a core focus. Absolutely. You don't think that, Travis?
I'm not sure. I mean,
do you think he's Mr. Stasis? Like, do you think he's gonna kind of?
The thing is, like with Destiny, the storytelling is really hard to predict because they leave you all these breadcrumbs and these things that seem like they're going to pay off someday, and then so far they never have. So this expansion is either going to be the one where finally some of their hanging plot threads, where they just leave us on a cliffhanger and never give us a real ending, it finally comes together, or it'll just be like another, kind of a cliffhanger where we're not really sure, things don't really come together. So I don't know which one it is, man. I hope that it's meaningful and something crazy or big happens, like Saint 14 coming back to the tower, something of that level. That would be great.
That is one thing that I think we all have to give them props on, is just how well they've been doing this storytelling over the last few years. And like Saint 14 coming back was awesome. Here, I just put them side by side so you can see logo on his chest, logo, and
that is the exact same logo.
It's the same logo. So I think he is going to be a key character with whatever story they were going to tell. Kind of went off on a tangent there. I was actually trying to talk about all of the lore and stuff that's changing. So let me continue on that aspect. Lore will also have its own section and brand new UI to show off the book covers and improve the reading experience. All lore through Season of Arrivals will be available to all players. The game will still show how many of the pages you earned, but everyone will be able to read everything now. So if you want to see X out of X pages earned, go earn any missing lore pages before the end of the season as well. New lore will be unlocked through Triumphs going forward and eventually made available to everyone when they become Legacy Triumphs. Last note, move to Legacy and Beyond Light and no longer available November 10th. The Shadow title, Reckoner, Black Armory, Wayfarer Destinations, Lore Chronicler, and Season 5 through 11 titles. So the question that I have for the panel, that was a lot of just tons of info to dump on you, but I wanted to know, how hungry and active are you, all of you, for current titles and Triumphs? And does, I guess that's my first question. Let's start there. So Mav, do you chase this currently? Do you chase titles and Triumphs?
So we actually, our raid group has been DMing each other and trying to sort of get these done because we need to finish them. I'm definitely a completionist. I guess that's just the MMO player in me. I just need all the Triumphs. I just need them all. And I've slept on some of them, like Black Armory. I just was very stubborn about that DLC because I just did not like it.
Yeah.
Blacksmith is
but
the coolest name title.
But I really need it. So I don't need it, but I need it. So I'm going to get it. That's where I'm at.
Brian, how about you?
There you go.
I know our buddy Teddy. Teddy,
Oh, yeah.
I think he has all these.
He has every single one. Yeah, he does.
He's really thirsty about it. But what about you? Are you really into it?
Yeah, I am. So I have, probably most titles, barring Flawless and Unbroken, because I don't play that much PvP. And then I don't have Riven's Bane because I didn't have I wasn't doing like a steady raid group back in Forsaken. But yeah, I just finally got the Moments of Triumph one. I finished Conqueror last season. I'll have Arrivals. I think whenever that Nokris thing happens.
Next week.
So yeah, so I've gotten every season's Triumph, since Shadowkeep came out. So yeah, I'm gonna I'll keep going on titles because I do actually like getting them, especially when their names are really cool.
So you're into it, Mav. You were selective, but you're kind of chasing it now because they're going away.
I shot myself in the foot there. I just should have just sucked it up and did it while it was content.
Travis, what about you? Where are you at with?
Yeah, I'm pretty zen about Destiny. I try to control the things I know I can control, like getting all the exotics and try to get the weapons that I think are valuable. But when it comes to titles and things that specifically force you to do activities that I really don't want to do, I just kind of let it go. So I don't chase the titles. I do have all the titles that I am super into. Like I grinded to get Savior because I really like Saint 14, and I'm Defender Titan. That was like my roots in D1. I never took that bubble shield off in D1, so I really wanted to get that. And Flawless and also Chronicler because I'm really into lore. So I actually already have that one, which is good because that one's going away. But yeah, I try to chase the ones that I really want, but I don't have, nearly any of, a collection of the titles, and I definitely don't feel a need to go after the triumphs. But I do really like the change they're making to make like an active Grimoire score, and then also just like a legacy one that's like overall, because I'm constantly wondering like how many of these triumphs are actually achievable in this game right now, and also it's kind of good to know. For those purposes, just for like peace of mind, but also it can it motivates them to get rid of the 0 triumph score, right? Because now they don't have to worry about like, oh, this triumph that maybe you won't be able to get, so we'll make it worth 0, because they have this new system where there's 2 triumph scores. So hopefully they'll get rid of the 0 triumphs. Those really annoyed me.
Those very
0
annoying.
Triumphs are annoying.
I would absolutely not go for triumphs for that specific reason. Like why am I going to go for this triumph that just gives me a gold bar around this text, not actually boost my triumph score? That's such a weird design. Yeah. I get why they did it, but it's also like the reason why it's supposed to be hard is because you get the reward from it, not just something saying you did. I don't. Yeah.
So
now they can give everything a score, I think.
Yeah. So my takes on titles and triumphs. I'm definitely a fair weather triumph earner, title earner. I really, really wanted Unbroken, the PvP one. I earned that, and I realized I was really close on the Gambit title, so I finished that one off. But all the other ones I kind of earned passively. The previous season's title was tied to an event that I really did not like. I really did not like the main event of the previous season. And I played probably the least I've played Destiny in the previous season because it was tied to that event. I still did all the like I was there for when the tower got almost hit by the Almighty, and all that stuff was great. They did a lot of smart stuff last season, but man, it was just tied to that one thing. And they made a lot of improvements this season. So I will get the title this season because there's something about it. It's just a better hook. And now that I've sort of done everything, I just kind of leave it on the wayside. But I'm not gonna chase Blacksmith. I'm not gonna chase any of the ones that are going away. I just don't feel incentivized. And the follow-up question I had for everybody on the panel is, will these changes make you interact with them more? For somebody like me, no, I don't think I'm going to interact anymore. If I passively find that I'm really close, maybe I'll finish it off for something to do. But do I feel overwhelmingly compelled to get a title or triumph? No. But I have to give them a shout out for that lore. The fact that you're going to be able to just read the lore in game instead of just being locked out of it forever because you never got all the books, that is a huge improvement that I very much appreciate. Mav, so how do you feel about the changes? Do you think you're going to be more incentivized to actively pursue titles as they come, or do you think you'll be sort of what's the right phrasing? Casually earning titles? Because now you're hardcore into it, but in the previous season you were kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm on team if I feel like going after something that's almost done, I'll do that. I don't think I'm going to go in on like PvP per se, like that's not something I'm super hyped about for just the history of D2. But the raid challenges and triumphs, like that is definitely something that I would love to do. So yeah, I think I'm on team pick and choose right now, especially when we only have so much time left. And, I kind of blacksmith or not, like we'll see, but I'm not going to just gruel over it. I sort of did that when D2 launched. And so I'm just like, I want to play Destiny and enjoy it the way I want to enjoy it. And if this makes me happy, then I'm just going to do that. And the lore situation is just, that's a win for the community, just because there's so many people that are joining who have no idea what Destiny is. And they just, if they take the time to read or they get a lore tab, they can actually go back and sort of like, just read one and then just read the next one. And they just sort of like go to the next one and snowball effect. And I'm definitely team. If I get it, sweet. Yeah. But we're definitely going to be raiding for sure.
I think you and I are sort of in the same boat. Go for the ones you really want, like that look cool or that are just fun to get, just sort of whatever. What about you, Brian? You're like, I need to have all the titles. Like, is this going to incentivize you more or?
No, I like same Bandcamp. Like I am like, I think I'm a little bit more, I aspire a little bit more than you guys to get those titles.
Try hard.
What? You call me try hard?
Well, you're already like there, so
So my thinking, my main excitement for this is that the Reckoner title will just finally disappear off of the front page. I'm tired of looking at it, and I will absolutely never attempt to get that title. So I'm glad it's just going to disappear off the temptation list, because it's like, no thank you.
I really want that one too.
No,
I haven't got it yet. I really want it.
I cannot come, like, that's so much Gambit and so much Reckoning that you're just like,
well, if you play, let me know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing the Reckoning grind to try to get the curated Gnawing Hunger right now. Well, I can't do that till next week, but yeah, like with titles, like I like to go for the seasonal title. I'll go for the raid title, and then if there's another specific title like they did with Conqueror, I'll go for that one, even though they re-released Conqueror, which is kind of weird. I don't know how that works when you've gotten it a second time, but we'll see how it changes. But I mean, if the titles themselves don't change how you acquire them, I probably won't change how I chase them now.
The ring around it is twice as bright if you get it twice.
Well, I'll have to get all of them.
There you go, man.
Yeah,
that's all he needed.
Travis, what about you? So does this incentivize you more, or are you still sort of where you were at before?
I'm kind of where I'm at before. I will say this does make me a little bit more proud of the ones that I actually went out of my way to get, especially the ones that were valuable to me, because it means, Chroniclers, I get to hold that a little bit closer to my chest and be like, yeah, I played when, back then when you could get Chronicler, and I got all the lore, went out of my way to do that, which is really cool. But it's not going to, ones that I didn't want or thought, oh, I won't have fun earning that triumph or, that title, it's not going to make me more likely to get it just because it's going away. I don't tend to have that kind of FOMO, or at least I really meditate and try not to, because that is the path to darkness in Destiny. You can really lose yourself. We can't all be Teddies. Sorry, Teddy. But yeah, that's just the nature of it.
All right, so I think we're all sort of in the same boat. Not really going to change our habits, but overall positive improvements to the system, right?
Absolutely.
So I mean, that's sort of a win. There's one final thing that I wanted to go over before we wrap the show today, and that is just some general stuff that you should know that's going on in Destiny. For example, panel, did you know that the Solstice Armor grind ends September 8th, but that the white glows can still be earned after that? Did everybody get their Solstice glows already? I did.
I didn't buy
I didn't
them.
get the white glow. I specifically stopped because I knew that everything else could be achievable later, and I was like, I'm gonna put that off. So
What about you, Mav? Did you get the glows on at least one?
Nope.
It's pretty grindy. I don't blame you.
Nope.
who wants to do that much Gambit?
Nope. Listen, I'm very busy this week, and that's basically what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's always been solstice. I always wait till last week, and then I just beat my face into my computer screen a little bit because I regret waiting so long. And then I get them, and then I just celebrate with lots of ice cream or something.
Nice.
I'm ready. I'm ready to get the armor sets. I've been busy, but okay, fine, I'll do it.
Not much time
They look
left.
cool.
You got a few days.
Yeah, I mean, once you get the first one, then the other ones sort of ramp up. But I just keep looking at it and just, all right, okay, just give me. I feel like I'm in college, and I'm just like, there's an assignment due, and I'm just procrastinating, and just okay. But I'll get it done. So
Nice.
Then I'll just show you guys my glow and the bruise on my forehead from my monitor.
I'll look for the tweet when you do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did it, guys.
Next update is about Trials of Osiris. 3 wins for Helmet this week, 5 wins for Auto Rifle, 7 wins for the Mark. That's some pretty achievable stuff. I need everybody who likes Trials or plays, maybe not likes, anybody who needs to hop into Trials to thin out the pool for me so I actually have a chance to get to 5
Pave
and
away
7.
to your victory.
Yeah, pave my way. Because the more people that are playing, actually, the better chance you have of actually getting to the higher ranks. Because if it's just all sweaty people, because there's not really anything exciting, it's much tougher.
Please play Trials.
Yeah.
So in case you guys didn't hear Destin correctly, download all of the mods that you can, cheats that you can, hop into Trials this weekend. Wait till you see Destin tweet that he's going to be online streaming, and then log on.
Instant respawning.
Yeah.
It's been rough. I'll just say.
Are you on the Trials?
I'm a huge fan of Trials. That is why I PvP. I just love it so much. I love D1's old aesthetic. I loved Trials of the Nine wasn't awful, but it wasn't. It didn't hit like the old Trials. This Trials is obviously like the old Trials, but I just love it so much. And we played a lot of it last weekend and the weekend before, and just the last 2 matches were just not real people, and I just hope that they either change it or something, because there's just it makes me really sad, and I'm hopeful, but I'm sad.
I hope they improve it also. There was a time where I felt like I was really on point with my PvP. It was when I was going for Unbroken, and I was actually getting halfway decent at the game, right? And I was having fun in Trials. I got the full Hunter set during that first season. And then to come back now when I'm out of practice, I'm not playing as well, and also run into hackers 3 games in a row. It's so demoralizing and infuriating, and I'm totally on the same page with you, because Trials is fine. It's the issue with the player base, really, that I think is the correction that I would like to see the most. Speaking of PvP,
PC players.
Yeah. Speaking of PvP, they've started to infect consoles too. It's insane. I don't know how.
I've never seen it, and I refuse to believe it. Stadia Master Race.
Yeah.
Can't cheat in the cloud.
I'm just kidding. Has anybody ever said Stadia Master Race? Is that the first?
No.
Am I the first one?
There's probably somebody out there
first
who's super dedicated to their game. They're
the first and
last.
Iron Banner has bonus Valor and returns September 8th to 15th. It looks like it is the sidearm, and I believe that was the assault rifle.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody on the panel can confirm.
It looks like the auto rifle forward path.
Yeah. So we've come full circle. We're re-earning the stuff from the first week. I already have both of those, but that is a deadly assault rifle if you didn't earn it, and has the new
with the
mods
worst
on
muzzle flash.
Well, Iron Banner is also really fun right now, just because of the SBMM wipe. So if you are looking to play, bring your friends.
Yeah, bring your friends, because when you queue against people who are solo, like I play solo, you destroy them, and it's a terrible experience for them. So yeah,
That's why I queue solo.
We literally, we had a stacked group, which I'm not proud of, but I made everyone drop their armor and their gear and randomize everything, and we still dominated. But we tried to just like see about leveling the playing field, and I don't know. Sometimes if you have good players, they're just good no matter what.
Yep, for sure. The last thing, this is just kind of a shout out to Bungie, but they redid their API workflow. So you'll note like dim, wow, such a huge improvement. So big props there.
That's probably, I mean, they have the API UI on Twitch with like trials and like just information from dim. So the fact that they're updating that, like, that means something's happening.
Yeah, maybe an engine change.
Maybe something.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like how my favorite part of that news is how they dropped it very casually. By the way, you guys might notice that things are 10 times faster. Just like
you might notice.
I was just like
they were being humble about that. They were just like oh, you might see it 10 times faster. They were being modest.
That was such a confident tweet, very confident announcement.
I do wish if anybody from dim watches this show, I missed the autocomplete though. I like is AUT and then hitting enter and it just shows all my auto rifles. I do miss that. So I have to look and see if that can be tweaked. But the speed, wow, I'm absolutely blown away. And with that positive statement from me, I know it's a change of pace, but that is the end of the show. Mav, where can people find your stuff? This is your chance to sort of plug, remind people where they can watch you. I'll throw up your lower third again. Bam. Twitch.tv/TheMavShow, right?
Yeah, so I'm the Mav Show everywhere, literally everywhere. I don't know how I got lucky with that, but there's no one else that is the Mav Show, just me. Twitter, Instagram, the podcast is finally back, so we kind of talk about video games. I sort of bring on creators, and you might know a few of them, and a lot of Destiny ones are actually going to be popping on. Folks like True Vanguard are on. We kind of talk about old video games and how we got started and everything. So it's sort of different when you come to creators and stuff. And yeah, it's sort of been diving back into Destiny videos for YouTube. So that's going to be a journey, but I'm excited. Stasis sort of has me re-inspired, which is wild because I've been playing since beta. I literally rented Destiny 1 from Redbox for my 360.
Wow.
Renting games from Redbox. Those were the days.
Wow.
Simpler times.
We've really gone full
when you could
circle
go
here.
outside.
A good choice.
No one knows what Redbox is anymore.
It's brought you years of joy. I'm one of the olds. I know what it is. Yeah. Brian, it's good to have you back. Mav, thank you for joining us. Travis, good to see you as always. Mav, I forgot to cue you at the front of the show or off air, but we point at the camera at the end of the show. We say, until next time, Guardians out. Are you ready to do it? Do you want to join us?
Oh, God.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Let's do it.
Well, real quick, I got to cue up the IGN bumper also. All right. So that's it for this time, everybody. Until next time, Guardians out.
Guardians out.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's amazing.
We did it.